All set? Good, perfect.
Come in.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, yeah.
Hi, how are you? I'm Jennifer Cerno with Gartner.
Jennifer.
Nice to meet you. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect, thank you so much. Do you mind if I use your office
Oh,
space?
yeah, absolutely. My space is yours.
Great, thank you so much. So I saw that you were new to the position of CIO
Yeah.
at Peach State University. How's that going for you so far?
So far, so good. 6 months in.
Oh, that's
We'll
great.
see how the rest of the year goes.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So how's the adjustment been going so far?
Really good. A lot of learning, a lot of picking up little details as I move along. I'm having a lot of fun working with the president that I've met a few times. So
Great.
it's a really cool jump up from where I was previously.
Great. So do you have any support with the transition so far?
So far, so good. I've got a team about 28 people, so a lot of people to kind of support and work through.
Imagine, yeah. So do you mind if I take notes?
Oh, go for it.
Great. So I wanted to give you my business card in case everything goes well and you wanted to continue a partnership with Gartner. Then you can go ahead and call me with any questions or concerns you may have.
Awesome. Love this business card.
Thank you. So if you did decide to move forward with a partnership with Gartner, would you be the primary decision maker in that process?
Yeah, I would. Depending on what the cost is going to look like, it might need to get higher up approval. But
Okay, who would that be?
that would be the president.
President. Okay. And okay. So the purpose of today's meeting is to see if it makes sense to have a business partnership with Peach State University and Gartner. So how we'll do that is just ask a few objectives of Peach State and see where you want to go, your role in that, and any obstacles that you may come across where Gartner can provide that value. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Would you like to add or change anything from there?
No, that sounds great. I'm just kind of looking for learning a little bit more information about you guys and see how you guys can help.
Great. Speaking of which, do you know anything about Gartner?
No, I'd love to, just from kind of what I've seen on LinkedIn, but
Okay, great. So Gartner is a leading IT firm and a research firm in the world. So a lot of Fortune 500 companies turn to us for research and reliability. So after I told you a little bit about me, I would like to turn the tables to you. So what are your main objectives for this year?
So I'm mainly looking for, sorry, trying to look for my notes. So I'm looking for like ways to improve the business. A big reason they pulled me in is because they're looking for efficiency within the IT team.
Okay.
Since our enrollment increased so much, they're really trying to figure out the best way to go about it without reducing costs too much.
Okay. Is reducing costs one of the main objectives?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you have a plan to do that so far?
Not yet. I'm still working on it. That 6-month thing. Still trying to get my head on straight. Trying to figure out where the efficiencies can be taken care of and like what's essential, what we can cut out.
Mm-hmm. And do you know where you want to cut so far?
Mostly, honestly, IT expenses.
Mm-hmm.
We've noticed that there's been a little bit too much money going into that area, especially when it's with enrollment. The percentages it doesn't make sense for how much money we're throwing into IT.
Right.
So the reason they mainly pulled me in is because that's kind of what I've done. That's what they pulled me into this position for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really trying to figure out where I can cut those expenses within IT.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a time frame for when you need to cut these expenses?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay.
That's to be determined at this point.
Okay. And do you know approximately how much you need to cut by?
About by 15%.
Okay.
So it's quite a lot. Just
Would
for
you be able
doing
to
it
give
in 1
me
year.
a dollar amount for that?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. So 15%
Mm-hmm.
cost reduction. Okay, so what resources have you been using to be able to figure out where you're going to be cutting?
So I did an audit of the different IT contracts.
Okay.
So it was just showing that the contract expenses is increasing faster than enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
So finding out that ROI is kind of where we're raising concern. So that's yeah. So we did the audit. I don't know which company we used the audit for. That was kind of done by my other team.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only done the audit.
Okay, sounds good. So do you have any guidance in being able to achieve these goals, like cutting costs and being more efficient?
So a lot of it comes from my previous experience. So being kind of a visionary in terms of technology and business and efficiencies within that, they're really pulling in my history and my expertise. So that's a big point of me needing to be here a little bit longer to really get the lay of the land of the company and see where things are going and see where the costs are going.
Would you say your job now at a bigger university is different from before when you were at a smaller community college?
Oh yeah, it is definitely different. I haven't being at a university this size, there's a lot of different challenges and a lot of different obstacles that I'm kind of working through and figuring out. Things that would work for a smaller university may not work for a bigger university. So that's something that I'm slowly working through as I move on.
Right, and you mentioned obstacles. What kind of obstacles do you have?
So we're concerned about the day-to-day management issues, which is a lot of that being a larger institution, because it's a lot easier with a smaller university and a smaller team. When you have 28 people, you really have to figure out where each person is putting their work, putting their hours, putting their time.
Right.
Because otherwise you might not be utilizing 10 of those people to their highest value. So
allocation of resources.
Yes.
Okay. And do you anticipate any roadblocks with trying to meet any of these objectives?
Not yet. Especially since they've kind of brought me in to work on this, and that was kind of my main objective. I don't foresee any objectives or any objections in terms of me kind of working through. It's just whether what I find is the best path and then just move forward with it.
Okay. So do you have any plan for any of these to take that path?
What do you mean?
Sorry, let me rephrase the question. Do you have a plan to be able to achieve like these goals of being efficient, reducing costs, strategy for the day-to-day?
Yeah, so a lot of it is going to be data-driven, and a lot of that is going to be just from being there a while, being able to pull monthly reports, being able to pull quarterly reports, and seeing that information. And once I kind of have like an audit history and a trail of that data, then I can move forward and make an educated decision.
And you mentioned you had previous experience and you believe that this will translate over to this new role. Do you believe that is enough to be able to manage such a different and large university?
I think so.
Yeah.
The president thinks so.
Great.
That's why they hired me.
Awesome. No, I'm sure you'll do great in the role, and we're here to help you succeed in any way. So just to recap and make sure I got everything. So you want to be more efficient in different ways of reducing costs. And speaking of costs, you want to reduce by 15%. You want to improve your ROI and see a better return on investment. And like we talked about, allocation of resources. And you would like help with day-to-day. Okay.
Yep.
So is there anything else I'm missing?
Not really. You kind of hit all the points.
Great. All right. So starting off with efficiency.
Sorry.
Okay. So starting off with efficiency, what do you think you need in order to get that done successfully?
Data. Lots and lots of data.
Okay. And
The more numbers, the better.
Right, absolutely. And would it be helpful if you had a considerable amount of research within the IT to make those decisions?
Within, like, our company?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that'd help.
Great. And also thinking about reducing cost, improving ROI, and allocation of resources, would a tool that does help you compare to other peers in your industry help with achieving those goals?
I think it would help.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. And also thinking about the day-to-day, do you think having someone who would be able to help you, who has had some similar experiences, also be able to help you manage the day-to-day?
Similar experiences how?
Have been in your shoes and have experiences being a CIO within the higher education industry.
Oh, I guess that would help.
Yeah? All right. All right, so all of these things that we've been discussing, I would love to show you how Gartner can step in and help out with that. So here you mentioned that you wanted to be efficient, and that way, the way being efficient is having a lot of data and as much data as possible. So Gartner for CIOs is the product, which is it has 3 different components, and the first one is the research. It has a lot of more than 135,000 documents over IT, covering 1,375 different IT topics. And all the information is reliable, it's unbiased, and it's extremely quick to have. Is that something you think would help you out with your objectives?
Yeah, so when you say unbiased, what do you mean?
So it means that it doesn't come in from either side. We completely come in and do the research and give an opinion that doesn't lead to a certain goal. It's just information to help you make your decisions to the best way possible for you.
Okay. Do you have sponsorships from any particular companies?
We do have a couple of different companies we do work with. I do have a couple of testimonials I could show you.
Yeah.
So these are a couple of testimonials that I have. And this is one from a CIO who's also in the educational industry, and he talks about how the CIO for Gartner for CIOs has helped him improve, be more efficient, give him the reliable, unbiased data like I was talking about. Does that answer your concern?
Yeah.
Great.
That's great.
All right. So next thing we talked about was cost optimization and reducing cost by 15% and the allocation of resources. So the IT budget tool is a tool where you can input your current budget and it'll generate a 27-page report that will help you compare where you're at in the standard, give you a standard average, and see how you compare with that line by line from your budget. It'll also help you compare how you're doing with the universities, your similar size within your industry. Is that something that sounds useful to you?
Yeah, that does sound pretty cool.
Great. And lastly, we talked about the day-to-day, and with that in mind, we have the executive partner, where is a CIO, like I was talking about, where he has 10 to 15 years of experience who's been in your shoes with similar experiences, and he knows what you're going through and where you could go, and he's there to help you. So it's a mentorship program that will help you make goals and achieve them tailored for your business. Is that something that sounds very useful to you?
Yeah, it does.
Great. So with that in mind, after going over some of the capabilities of Gartner, what else would you like to see to move forward with a partnership?
Do you have any example reports or?
I do.
The things that I would actually see if I utilize this.
Absolutely. So here is an IT budget, and this is what the report would look like. This is barely the first page, and it'll give you line by line as to where you are and then where the industry is.
And can I get that, is that industry just tech industry, or could I get that specific to like educational institutions?
Yes, you can customize it to get it to whichever one you'd like. So it'll help you compare yourself to the IT industry and then in the higher educational space.
Okay, perfect.
Does that answer your concern?
How far back does it go? And does it give you estimations for future?
This is for helping you allocate your budget and see where you're overspending and underspending.
Okay.
So it'll compare what your current budget is, and it'll give you a good estimate, or not an estimate, it'll give you a number of an average and it'll help you to see where you can cut costs, like you were saying to save 15%, and where you can improve as well.
Okay, very cool.
Does that answer the concern?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, is there anything else that you need to hear about to move forward with the partnership?
I'd like a little bit more information. I'm not really looking at getting anything right now, just since I'm still in the position for 6 months. I'd like to do a little bit more research, maybe do a little bit more internal reports before I move forward with any licenses.
So besides that, looking at what exactly are you looking to move forward with the partnership?
What am I looking to move forward with?
What are you looking forward to move forward with? Sorry.
Honestly, a lot of the restriction is time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the timing's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to do an assessment of the IT department internally before I go and look and see where I could be spending budget
Mm-hmm.
to better optimize the department.
Right. So I know you mentioned you didn't have a specific timeline as to when you need to cut costs, but cutting costs is something that is one of your top priorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you completely agree that this tool can absolutely help you with finding where you can find that allocation of your budget, where you can cut costs and where you can improve and spend a little bit more on,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
So is there anything else that would stop you from considering a partnership with that?
So a big kind of outlier in this is that this would, at least in the interim, increase my budget, and that's not something I can do right now. I need to be able to figure out how to decrease my budget before I can increase it, then to bring it back down. So I need to be able to drop it down before I can justify, hey, I need to buy these particular things to be able to create more optimization, because a lot of it is I'm data driven.
Mm-hmm.
They hired me to kind of be this engine, albeit it's a manual process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to be able to go through kind of my own process and be in the company for a while before I can say, these are the things that are going to be most efficient. These are the things that we don't need, but we could use in the future.
Okay. So I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part again?
Yeah. I'm just gonna need some time to kind of get my budgets in place and reduce the costs just from what I can do and what my history shows that I can do and what they hired me for, before I go spending any money on anything else that could help in the long run. But I kind of need to bring it down first so I can continue in the future.
Okay. Do you believe though that an investment right now to help you in the long run would be beneficial to you? So that way you know where to cut costs and start that immediately, rather than 6 months down the road where you may be a little bit high over budget or a little bit more over budget.
Yeah, no, I do see a lot of value in the Gartner product. This is a really great report, and I could see how our university would benefit from that in the long run. But right now, the timing's just not right. So it's something that I just have to kind of wait on.
Okay. So would you mind setting up a date later on, maybe 3 months from now, on the 25th? Would you be open to looking at it again and seeing how that we could provide that value to you?
Yeah, I would absolutely set up a follow-up.
Great. So how about the 21st at 9 in the morning? How does that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like me to bring that could help you make that step and make the partnership with Gartner?
If you have any more sample reports,
Okay.
that would be great, because then I can really kind of go through and see kind of the customization.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any reports specific to the higher education, even if it's just kind of a breakdown example, that would really help.
Okay. Great. So I will see you that day at 9 in the morning.
Perfect.
Great. It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Partner up in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.